Good afternoon, all. I hope my audio is proper. Today's remedy is Apis mellifica. We know it is honeybee, which is the source of the remedy. So the common name is poison of honeybee. In old method, it belongs to class 4, but in the new method, yes, the drug strength is equalized to 1 by 10. Okay. Constitution, when we want to say, I think one thing should be very clear about Apis is the strumous constitution. What is strumous constitution? Strumous means something related to glands or in particular thyroid. So you don't come across strumous constitution very often in keynotes. So that is why it is important also. So it's a, if you know this thing, you have 4 marks. So in case if somebody asks of strumous constitution, you have very handful of remedy that you need to remember, and one among that is Apis. Alright. So adapted to strumous constitution, glands enlarged, indurated, serous or open cancer. So please remember from clinical aspect also, it is very much indicated in cancerous conditions. Alright. Women, especially widows, children and girls who, though generally careful, become awkward and let things fall while handling them. So we have a lot of awkward remedies, and one such is Apis, other one is Bovista. Yes, the other people of strumous is one is Crotalus horridus. Please read the description. Strumous, debilitated, hemorrhagic, broken down constitution. So it's not a direct strumous constitution, but yes, the word is there. That is why it is pretty important. The other one is Diphternum, strumous diathesis. So if you want to actually differentiate, you have a strumous constitution, that is Apis. Strumous hemorrhagic broken down constitution is Crotalus horridus, and strumous diathesis, scrofulous, psoric or tuberculous persons will be Diphternum. Coming to the mind of Apis, we know it has a female touch. So ailments from jealousy, fright, rage, vexation, bad news. So all these have a profound effect on Apis personality. Irritable, nervous, fidgety, hard to please. Okay, fidgety is there, and you have hard to please. Alright. Then you have weakened disposition, cannot help crying, just like your pulsatilla, like your sepia. Discouraged and despondent. Okay. Sudden, shrill, piercing scream from children while waking or sleeping. The cross reference is Heribolus. Now I want you to remember this is not exactly a mental genital. If you really think about it, it should be something like a meningitis brain crying. Alright, so yes, children come up with meningoencephalitis. So it should be something related to that. Okay, so that is this sudden shrill piercing scream from children while waking or sleeping. Yes, that's the weeping disposition, and this is kind of a jealousy or envious personality. On the physical side, extremely sensitive to touch, like that of Belladonna and Lachesis. You have intense burning, stinging pain because you have Apis, it's a honeybee. If it comes and stings you, and you're going to have a stinging pain. How is it? It's burning, stinging, sore, suddenly migrating from one place to another. And such remedies are your Caribyke, Lacaninum and Pulsatilla. Okay, you have this complaint, tend to go from one place to another like that. Thirstlessness, we already have done the trios. One is Apis, Ethius and Pulse. Thirstlessness exactly in Anasarca, ascites. Okay, so even you have acetic acidum, aceticum acidum. But the problem here is acetic acid, apocyinum, I think we have already discussed, which are thirsty, but Apis is thirstless. Okay, and it affects the right side predominantly. So enlargement of dropsy of right side, enlargement or dropsy of right sided ovary, right testicle, all these things are very marked in the remedy Apis mellifica. The trial of thirstlessness is Ethusa, Apis and Pulsatilla. We have already discussed that. You have shifting migrating pains here. And in eye, you have this characteristic symptom edema, bag-like puffy swelling under the eyes. And you have over the eyes this chelicarp, both being your phosphorus. So these are your edema of eyelids trio, Apis, phos and chelicarp, where Apis being the lower eyelid, chelicarp being the upper eyelid, and phosphorus having both eyelid affections. So please see the photo again. Please, make it a point to remember this thing. In GIT, you have constipation as well as diarrhea. So constipation, sensation as if abdomen, sensation in the abdomen as if something tight would break it if much effort were used. So it's showing the effort, how much you have to expel the stools. So that is the level of constipation in Apis, but then clinically I have not seen much prescriptions of Apis in constipation. Whereas in diarrhea, definitely you have diarrhea of drunkards in eruptive diseases, especially if the eruption was suppressed. Okay, so you have to remember this with your sorinum. Okay, then you have involuntary every motion. Sorry, and diarrhea as though anus was wide open. And this is one of the most important materia medica question in a PGD point of view. Diarrhea as though anus was wide open. You have three remedies: Apis, phos, and I think Sickle also is there. Alright, so moving ahead, in urine you have very frequently prescribed remedy in urinary infections, which is the Apis mellifica. So what it does is incontinence of urine with great irritation of the parts, can scarcely retain the urine a moment, and when passed scalds severely. Okay, so that shows the level of burning Apis type of UTI can have. And you have frequent urination, you have incontinence of urination, you have urging, and once if it is passed, the parts will be having great irritation and it has scalding pains. And it can be scanty as well as bloody. And scanty bloody, it's not only just for UTI, you have to also think of all the deeper nephro infections like your pyelonephritis. It can even be indicated in CKD kind of diseases. Extremities, edema of the hands, feet, dropsy without thirst, and you have comparison with thirst is acetic acidum and apocynon. Okay, so you have edema of hands and feet. So I think by now you can actually correlate. There is renal lesions and there is edema, which obviously makes it somewhat pretty easy to correlate, and that's what I want you to remember. Apis is one such remedy. You have to always think in renal pathologies, where you can obviously see edema, you have scanty urine, you can have a bloody urine, you can have burning urination. Here the protein is not mentioned, but yes, you have to think of all these things. Alright, because you have a generalized edema and your characteristic is you don't have thirst. Okay, yeah. So going ahead is your fever, intermittent fever, chill 3 p.m. with thirst. Now Apis is thirstless, but in the chill time, the chill phase of fever, Apis is having thirst. So that is making it becoming a very exceptional symptom of Apis mellifica. So you have an intermittent type of fever, chill 3 p.m. with thirst always, and you have bracket ignatia. Okay, and Apis is a hot remedy, so you have aggravation warm room and from external heat, and you have a cross reference for Toja, which have 3 a.m. 3 p.m. cell. Okay, so you have 11 a.m. 11 p.m. fever by cactus, asthma 2 to 4 a.m. by chelicarp, cough 3 to 4 a.m. ammonium carb and chelicarp. 3 to 4 a.m. aggravation is Ethusa in boric. So all these things are something related to 3 and even your midnight, all those things. Alright. In skin, you have bad effects of acute exanthema, imperfectly developed or suppressed. Because we have already discussed that, please go back to your GIT part. You can always see here. Diarrhea, especially if the eruption be suppressed. Okay, so that is something you have to remember. So, yeah, bad effects of acute exanthema, imperfectly developed or suppressed, like that of synchromate. But yes, if you want to specifically correlate with diarrhea, please go and check Sorinum also. Measles, scarlatina and urticaria. Okay, again urticaria, Apis is another remedy which is very frequently prescribed. Few points from Boric. You have stupor alternating with erotic mania. Styes also prevents their recurrence. Erysipelas with stinging burning edema extends from right to left. So again, it it reinforces the point that there is a right-sided predominant affection, which again can go to left side, which again you can correlate with symptoms changing from one part to another. So all these things are pretty much interconnected. You have a tongue fiery red. Why fiery red is important? You can think of cancer of tongue, but you can also see here scarlatina. Okay, scarlet fever. Scarlet fever have strawberry tongue. So yes, tongue fiery red, cancer of tongue. Okay, and sensation of fishbone in throat. Okay, and you have craving for milk. Another important remedy is Rustox. And last but not least, the dreams are full of care and toil. Okay, so these have to have a summarization of Apis mellifica. You have a lot of urinary symptoms. You have eye affections like styes. You have skin lesions like acute exanthema, which when suppressed or not developed properly, you have bad effects of that. You can come up with a diarrhea. You can have right-sided ovarian or testicular affections in Apis, like that, and so on and so forth. So these have to be some key points that you have to remember. You have burning, stinging pains. You have thirstlessness, but not in the chill phase, because chill 3 p.m. with thirst is Apis. Also in brackets you have ignitia. So all these things are some recap of Apis. Speaking of the modalities, you have aggravation after sleeping, just like your laxus, pretty much avoided modality of Apis, but definitely you have to think. Again, laxus is jealousy. Jealous woman. Apis also is having a jealousy component. Aggravation closed, especially warmed and heated rooms are intolerable, because Apis is a hot remedy just like laxus. And getting feet wet also has a problem, just like Rustox. Amelioration, open air, cold water, cold bathing, uncovering pains by cuffing. Okay, pain by cuffing, walking and changing position is having amelioration. And while sitting erect. Okay. So relations, the complementary remedy is Natramure disagrees when used either before or after Rustox. Okay. Ars and Pulse follow Apis well. Has cured scarlatina albuminuria after Cantharis, Digitalis, Helleborus have failed. Very important, relation part. You have disagrees before or after Rustox, complementary Natramure. I think everybody knows these two, but the fourth point, what I've written here, cured scarlatina albuminuria after Cantharis, Digitalis, Helleborus failed, is important. Shows the wrong pair of constitution. You have torpid lymphatic constitution by Hepazil, phlegmatic Strophilus, Dulcamra, hydrogen atom self, Stromus iodum. So the answer is B. Stromus iodum is not the correct, it is Apis. Okay. Pick the remedy which is having a right-sided affinity, Apis, Podophyllum, Cilicia, all the above. So the answer should be all the above, because Cilicia have a right-sided headache. We all know Podophyllum is right-sided, and definitely Apis, because we just said right now. Okay. And you have burning, cutting pains in urethra during micturition, violent tenesmus and strangury. Now strangury, burning, cutting pains, it is Cantharis. There is no doubt in that. And I think that's the end of the session. Thank you.